Good morning, teachers. My name is Iris.
Good morning, teachers. I'm Jamie. We're editors from Oxford University Press, ELT department. Hey, Iris, I haven't seen you for a while. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I think you would all agree that COVID-19 has reshaped the way we work. We editors work from home and check pages digitally instead of marking the changes using ball pens as we did in the past. For teachers, I think you didn't get to meet your students much in most of the day in the past year. You teach in front of the camera and have online classes with them. Is that right?
So we take this opportunity to explore ways of teaching and learning flexibly. So in this new edition of Oxford Essential and Oxford Advanced Exam Skills, it's important that we provide support and resources for teachers to teach and students to learn effectively in this new normal.
This year, we have the third edition of Oxford Essential and Oxford Advanced Exam Skills. You may rest assured that we provide boundless support for teachers. So no matter where you are, you can teach as if you are at school, and students' learning are not affected.
And the support for teachers and students persists throughout the year. Now let's take a look at the details of Oxford Essential and Oxford Advanced Exam Skills 3rd edition.
This is the complete series of Oxford Advanced and Oxford Essential Exam Skills 3rd edition. There are 10 units in papers 1, 2, and 3 across 2 volumes, and 8 units in 1 volume in paper 4. All units across the skills books are thematically linked, which will facilitate teachers who prefer using one theme for all papers. Each of the 10 units is followed by a unit matching mock test, which allows students to practice the skills that they have learned in the unit. Teachers can then see how well students have mastered what they have learned. To ensure a smoother and more accurate progression of our exam practices and mock tests, we did an in-depth analysis of the HKDSE exam papers to determine the average level of difficulty. Based on our analysis, the series progression is shown as follows. The first 7 units of Oxford Essential, which are below HKDSE level, are designed for students who want to familiarize themselves with the exam. Oxford Advanced, on the other hand, is designed for students who want to excel in the exam, with units reaching the DSE level towards the end of Volume 1 and exceeding the DSE level in the last few units of Volume 2. Teachers may wonder, students have to sit the HKDSE exam after all, so what are the features in this new series that help students succeed in the HKDSE? Jamie, can you walk us through the new features?
Sure. To help students master the skills they need for the HKDSE exams, we have various HKDSE-oriented features in the new edition of Oxford Essential and Oxford Advanced Exam Skills. For a start, students will have many opportunities to practice the question formats from the latest HKDSE Paper 1 exams. We make sure that these question formats replicate the latest DSE exam as closely as possible. Here, you can see some examples of up-to-date question formats in Paper 1. For instance, all these 3 questions closely follow those in the 2020 HKDSE exams, and they are clearly labeled for teachers and students' easy reference. For teachers who want the latest Paper 2 exam formats, we'll also have it ready for you. In the 2024 DSE writing paper, the Part B questions will be delinked from the 8 elective modules, and the number of questions will be reduced from 8 to 4. We will follow suit and make sure that your Form 4 students will be able to familiarize themselves with the latest format of the exam paper. And speaking of Paper 2, we learned from the exam reports that appropriate use of rhetorical devices contributes to attaining a high language mark in the DSE writing paper. In view of this, we've enhanced the teaching of rhetorical devices in our new exam skills series. In the Paper 2 teaching part, we introduce a new section called Write Like a Pro, in which rhetorical devices are taught systematically in a step-by-step approach. Instead of introducing all rhetorical devices at one go in a unit, we've spread them into more units, starting early from Unit 2. There's also a review in Unit 9, summarizing everything students have learned. Also new to Paper 2 is Language Resources, which is a half-page long section at the end of each target text type. It lists a wealth of useful generic expressions that students can use directly to write a certain target text type. In Paper 3, we also try to resemble the latest HKDSE exam formats. You'll find quite a lot of question formats that appear in the 2020 exam paper. For example, labeling a map, identifying pictures, as well as multiple choice question related to a line graph. In Paper 3 Part B, students are expected to write a wide range of text types. So we've added a new section, Tips on Language Marks, in Paper 3 to help students attain a high language mark in this paper. Students find Paper 3 particularly challenging, not just because of their language skills, but also because they find it difficult to manipulate information from the data file. For example, students have to combine information from more than one data file item to get one content point. They also need to change the tone and style when they transfer information from the data file to the writing task. It is therefore important to prepare students for this. In the new edition of our exam skills series, we've added a section in Paper 3 called Data File Manipulation. This section points out what students should pay attention to when they manipulate the data files.
When students cannot go to school, it's important that they can access to the resources they need to learn by themselves. Even if everything resumes normal and students get back to school, it's always a good idea to encourage self-directed learning. So how do the Exam Skills series achieve this? Next to the heading of each listening exercise in the Paper 3 unit, you'll find a QR code. Students can scan the QR code and listen to the recording on their own. It can be done outside the classroom and out of school hours. As long as students have the book and a QR code scanner, that's their mobile phone, they can listen to the recordings. The same applies to Paper 1. There's a QR code next to the featured text type heading. Simply scan the QR code and students can listen to native speakers reading the text passages. In the new edition of Oxford Essential and Oxford Advanced Exam Skills Papers 1 and 2, we have a new feature called Explore. You'll find this Explore tip box in each unit. They provide links to external sources of related reading materials that students can read at home and at their own pace. Teachers can choose to ask students to read them on their own or teach them the additional reading materials in class. Exclusive to Paper 1 is the tutorial videos. Each video highlights some difficult questions from each mock test with detailed, step-by-step explanations, allowing students to have a better grasp of different types of questions in a focused, methodical way. We also make use of the social media platform and have uploaded useful exam tips videos on YouTube, so students can watch the videos at home and learn what they should pay attention to when they sit the DSE exams.
Another highlight of self-directed learning resources is the exam skills boosters of the 4 papers. They were well received by teachers and students in the last edition of the exam skills series. So we're keeping this popular component in the new edition. The exam skills boosters contain comprehensive pre- and post-teaching exercises that are built on what is taught in each of the skills books. So the idea is to use the booster booklet alongside the main textbook unit. When there's a related section in the exam skills booster, you'll find the booster boxes clearly signposted for you in the main book. Let me show you what are included in the exam skills booster. First, there are warm-up exercises to familiarize students with the topic of the unit and to help students develop thematic vocabulary. Teachers have flexibility to use this section either for pre-teaching or for students' revision. We just mentioned that the exam skills boosters are meant to be used alongside the main book. It's because the booster booklets contain a lot of additional support to the main units. For example, A Paper 1 text, which appears in the main book, is annotated and analyzed in the Exam Skills Booster. For Paper 2, the writing task support helps students finish the writing task in the main book. The writing outlines in the Paper 3 booster provide guidance on completing the Part B writing tasks in the exam practice in the main book. For Paper 4, students can find the detailed analysis of a model group discussion of the exam practice in the main book. Besides having a strong linkage to the main book, the Exam Skills Booster itself also contains different additional skills practice specific to the paper. For example, we have language practice in Papers 1 and 2, listening practices on skills, accents, and connected speech in Paper 3, and practices in pronunciation and delivery, communication strategies in Paper 4 Exam Skills Booster. In each of the Exam Skills Boosters of Papers 1 and 2, Paper 3, and Paper 4, there is a glossary where students can find lists of difficult words from the main units. They can scan the QR codes to listen to the pronunciation of the words and phrases. They can also learn the words with our brand new flashcard tool.
Flashcard tool? Can you show me more about it? Wow, the flashcard tool is really impressive. I can't wait to try it out. Just now, we know that teachers can assign card sets to students. Speaking of assignable resources, are there any other materials that teachers can assign to their students?
Of course, when you don't get to meet your students, it's important that there are ways you can assign homework to them. We've got that covered. First, Paper 1 exam practices are now available in Google Forms, so teachers can see your students' performance whether you're in school or at home. Also, You can make use of our iSolution ebook. There has been a major upgrade on our e-activities from the last edition. You can use the assign function to assign digital resources such as videos, audio recordings, and marking schemes to students on iSolution. And students can access to these resources anywhere, anytime.
Also, for teachers, we are here to help you teach from anywhere in the new normal. As usual, teachers can use our iSolution ebook to go through the units and mock tests with students in class. iSolution is a must-have companion for your lessons, whether a virtual or a physical one. In Paper 1, the explanations are now overprinted in the teacher's book, so you do not have to refer to another document. Everything you need is printed on the same page next to the questions. We believe this is more convenient and would save teachers time. We've made sure the answer explanations are now more accurate and informative than before. We are confident that these enhancements will greatly facilitate your marking and complement your lesson preparation. We also state the question type, the level of difficulty of that particular question, and also the line number of the text passage where the answer is located for your reference. The Paper 1 marking schemes are enhanced by following the HKEAA style, using single slashes for alternative phrasing within an answer, and double slashes for alternative answers, providing teachers with a wider range of possible answers and phrases, especially in extended response questions. In the model writings in Paper 3, we've provided marking tips on some of the content points. These marking tips explain where a content point comes from, especially when the point is not explicitly stated in a data file item, or when a content point needs to be deduced from several sources. This would help teachers explain answers to students. We've also made improvements to the Paper 3 marking schemes too. Besides following the HKEAA style of adopting the one content point equals one mark approach for each task in Part B, we've included key coherence and organization areas and key appropriacy areas to help teachers and students understand the appropriacy requirements of each writing task, such as the text type, writing purpose, tone, and register.
Besides the digital ebook, there's also interactive answer checking PDF, which is brand new to this edition of Exam Skills. It's basically a trimmed down version of the ebook for papers 1 to 3, which teachers can use for checking answers with students. If teachers have scheduled a particular lesson to check answers with students, then the interactive answer checking PDF is the best alternative you can choose to use. The PDF includes a show hide function, which allows you to show or hide teaching notes or answers in one go or individually. The PDF also includes all relevant answer sources, including tape scripts, audio playbacks, and data files. For many of our HKDSE titles, we've been providing 3 different speeds for our Paper 3 audio recordings. In this edition, to further cater for learner diversity, we now have independent interactive audio scripts. Teachers will be able to adjust the speed of each of the audio tracks, catering to differences in students' listening abilities. If students are listening to a particularly difficult task, teachers can now more finely control the speed of the track. You may have used this from our other titles, but this is the first time that Oxford Essential and Oxford Advanced Exam Skills develop its own set of cut score calculator. Teachers can input your students' marks into the cut score calculator for papers 1 and 3, which automatically generates each student's projected level, as well as statistics on the class performance. This will not only save teachers the trouble of performing the complex calculation, but also give you instant access to important figures like level distribution. With the useful information readily available, you can then tap into the substantial diagnostic resources that are designed to help students build on their strengths and overcome their weaknesses. As part of the diagnostic resources, we have the diagnostic reports to help teachers monitor your students' progress in Paper 1. There are two kinds of reports. First, the individual report is for students to get a better idea of their own performance in each question type. The class report, on the other hand, analyzes the overall class performance in each question type for teachers' easy reference. In addition, there are diagnostic exercises for Paper 1 and Paper 3. Each exercise focuses on one specific question type or skill, so the teachers can target students' weakness and assign it as a follow-up.
On top of all the teaching and diagnostic resources we've just mentioned, there are also other support for teachers throughout the whole year. As always, we'll continue to provide unseen graded mock tests. 7 graded mock tests are uploaded to our Teaching Resources Center every year. Teachers can use them as midterms and finals to assess students' learning outcomes. We also make sure the timely release of OUP's exam analysis report allows teachers to get hold of the most up-to-date picture of the latest exam papers. Since 2016, we have been organizing an annual mock exam, which is aimed at familiarizing students with the HKDSE exam and its procedures in an authentic setting. Participants received marked exam papers and a detailed exam report, giving them one final push before the official public exam. We try our best to make good use of our expertise and experiences in organizing the mock exams and continue to provide teachers and students with ample support and resources.
In summary, this series boosts new content to resemble the latest HKDSE exams. There are also enhanced resources for students' self-directed learning. Teachers are also provided with boundless support throughout the year. And we also showcased our expertise with substantial diagnostic resources.
On behalf of the editorial team, we would like to thank you for joining us on the webinar today. Please don't hesitate to contact our account executives to know more about our products. Thank you.